Someone's saying it's sketchy I didn't ask Jimmy why he was walking across the neck. I'll tell you why. Everything is up there. Sharon's salon, the plant, Joe's, even Jimmy's mom's house is up there, 15 feet from the plant. But I figured he was going up to Joe's to get more beer like he's always been doing recently. Oh, and I didn't press charges because, you know, it's a small town. You wouldn't know what it's like unless you lived in one. I didn't want to stir the pot or push any wrong buttons, you know what I mean? Now, you want to know what I think about the other people in Callit Harbour?
So you want me to tell you what I know or what I think about everyone?
Oh, like I said, I'm Aunt Bernie. Everyone here calls me that out of respect. But you want me to tell you what I think of everyone?
Yes, but wants me to gossip about everyone. Why? So I loses all my customers.
Sorry, had to move us inside my garage because of the rain. Don't want mud or prying into my business. So, you want gossip on everyone? Doesn't matter anyway, I guess. Like I said, no matter what I think of them, they still don't like me and fodder.
Newfoundland weather, frig. I tells you, it can be 35 degrees in the morning and snowing by supper time. Jane's sleeping after an overnight at the plant, so I figured to get us out of the rain, we could come in here in the shed. So, just curious, are you trying to pit us against each other or what? It was pretty peaceful down here in Callit before you showed up.
I mean, I'm probably the newest person in town. I can tell you what I think of everyone, I guess, but I'm not sure I know everyone personally.
Sorry about that. The rain just came on in the blink of an eye. Anyway, we'll stay in here so Mother don't be asking any questions. But what does my opinion matter anyway?
Maybe Jimmy faked his death so I could collect insurance? Someone said that? Yes, because I can't afford to go into the Dollarama in Greens Pond and buy a few paints without my husband offing himself so I can collect life insurance. And now you want me to give you my opinion on everyone in town? Great. More gossip, I guess.
Gar White, well, I don't really have an issue with him. I mean, there's only a couple of us business owners around here. Tries to be nice, but Gar is driven by money. He stops in every once in a while, has a small chat with me every morning. Don't care enough to learn the name of the business, though. Always calls it the Stop and Go.
Ah, now Gar White is a good man. He helped pay for Maxwell's funeral. He knew we were going through a hard time with Maxwell being hospitalized there at the end. Oh, before that last stroke took him, Gar came to visit me. He told me that if he could help me with anything after Maxwell passed, he would see to it. Oh, Max used to work up at the Saltbox Fisheries when Gar's dad owned the plant.
I have no issue with Gar White. He's a good man. Half the reason why I got all the men in Callit coming in here for a cut. Now, he thinks sometimes he's too good for it in here in Callit. So when he made an appointment with me, sure I was shocked. Guess he didn't have to travel up Greenspan anymore. So he's a pretty stand-up guy.
Me and Dad ship our catches to Gar. Gar's pretty much considered our employer, if you think of it that way. We've never had an issue. He's always had fair wages up there at the plant, so we continue to ship to him. He's a businessman through and through.
Gar White, he's a pretty decent fella. I don't have an issue with him. You know, he likes to drive around in his fancy cars because he got the money. But he don't mind me taking a look at his truck or anything if something goes wrong.
I don't really know Gar that well. I do know that Francis sells the stuff that he catches up at the Gar's plant. That technically makes Gar Francis' employer, right? It's been over 10 years now and I can still not figure it out, all this fishing stuff.
Gar never liked my dad, but I didn't have a problem with him. I'd go up to the plant sometimes and hang out with Jesse while he unloaded his dad's boat. The man's okay, I guess.
Gar White. I've never liked that man. Ever since Jimmy was fired up at the plant, and yes, I know it was Jimmy's own fault, but Gar just made it tough on us here in town. I always thought he was better than the rest of us here in Callit Harbour. Money hungry. That's all he is.
I don't have much respect for Joe Ryan, up there running that stop and go like it's a charity. Hiring youngsters off the street just because he has something to prove. Shocking, really. He's gonna run that business right into the ground. All that his father built up for.
Joe Ryan? Oh, he's such a kind man. Oh, got Myrtle working up there in her old age just 'cause he don't have a heart to tell her to retire. And he helps me out every so often. Comes down and gives me a drive up over the hill to get my groceries.
I has a chat with Joe Ryan every so often. He's a good man. I stops in for me morning cappuccino at the Stop and Gas before I opens up my salon. Can't say I've ever had an issue with the man.
Joe Ryan is a great help to me and Fodder. Anything we need, he'll put on his business order for us. Gets rubber clothes and everything up there so we don't have to go into Greens Pond. It's not like you have to do it. Gas stations don't tend to sell that stuff. Real good help he is.
Of course, me and old Joey are great friends. He runs the gas station up the street, so, anything I need for my garage, I usually got up there. Sometimes I throws in a free tune-up for him, and he throws in free spark plugs for my business. And, we got a pretty good business relationship on top of being good friends.
Joe Ryan, he's a nice man. Always willing to help, especially if Francis needs anything for his boat. And he helped me a couple of days ago when I needed someone to tow my car. I would consider him a fine gentleman.
Well, Joe is a lot older. I only get that gossip from hearing my mom and dad speak about someone of that age. I've never had a problem with him, though. I'm considering applying for the job up at the Stop and Gas, just for some pocket change through the school year. He said he'd be willing to give me a shot and hire me part-time.
Joe Ryan is a good man. Even though Jimmy kept running up a tab there, Joe continued to let him mark stuff down without question. He's a saint for sure. Anyone else would have told Jimmy, no way, there's the door, but Joe knew Jimmy was down in his luck and he wanted to help.
Bernie Murphy? Well, she knows about how many pounds of crab I have to unload from the boat even before it gets into the harbor. And I'm telling you now, she sees everything through that kitchen window of hers. Must be part of her old charm.
Aunt Bernie. God love her. She's such a lovely old woman, I feels bad. Since Maxwell passed away, she's had it hard in town, so I goes down and I help her where I can. Helped her plant her pansies last week, actually. Yeah, she got someone to deliver them from the Greens Pond Nursery, flower shop in town. Had to go help her in the garden, I did.
Aunt Bernie is one character. In here almost every Saturday to get her curler set for Sunday services. Oh, me and her sits and we has the biggest laugh. And she always has a story about this one or that one. Always telling me stories about my parents when they were youngsters.
Bernie Murphy haven't got much time for me. I tries to ignore her. My dad tells me she's just old and not to let it get her in my skin. She's always yelling something about me and my car. Listen, I'm not driving fast. My car's just loud. Loud doesn't equal fast. But I think the old people think it does.
Aunt Bernie Murphy's an angel, I tell ya. If it wasn't for her baking those biscuits up there. She always got a delivery for me and Jane down here. She knows Jane's works non-stop down at the plant, so she always sends a basket of biscuits down because she knows Jane don't have any time to bake. God bless her.
Oh, Aunt Bernie. Well, she didn't like me at first. Everyone said she's old and telling her ways, and after getting to know her, though, it's true. She warmed up to me. Now I get my son and daughter to go over every so often and help with the chores on the weekends. It will teach them some responsibility.
Oh yeah, Dad used to be really close with Aunt Bernie. I remember when I was a child, I'd go over and Aunt Bernie would turn on some cartoons and I'd watch Bugs Bunny or something with her. She only had 2 channels though, CBC and NTV, so not much selection. When Uncle Maxwell passed though, that all changed. She's different now towards my dad and our family.
Aunt Bernie is a saint. Jimmy really didn't treat her right coming on the end of Maxwell's life, but I've kept close to her. She was one of my main clients when I sold Avon. Always wanted some bubble bath. Never bought the shampoo, though. Said she had to support everyone, so she bought that one from Sharon. That's how she was. Knew everyone's business, personal and otherwise, but still had to support everyone in town. A saint.
Sharon Pike is the best hairdresser in town. I don't care what anyone says. I wouldn't touch anyone else near my hair except for her. I've been going to her since, since about she opened about 10 years ago now, I think.
Sharon Pike, one of the few business owners here in Callit, I have nothing but respect for her. Even when people tried to rake her business through the coals on Facebook, she continued and thrived more than ever. She's such an independent person. I get some haircut there all the time.
Oh, now that one, Sharon, she's like a second daughter to me. Well, my own daughter moved into St. John's, but Sharon is someone I can have a laugh with. She's always calling me up to see how I'm doing, and I only gets my hair done up to her salon. Every Saturday, I gets me curler set, and we have the best of chats.
Sharon's actually one of the few people in town who won't badmouth me and Fodder. We go to her for our cuts. She's actually pretty good friends with Mother, too. She's not married or nothing, so whenever me and Fodder are out in the boat, she comes over and keeps Mother company for a few days. She's like a second mother to me, sure.
Sharon Pike. I don't know. Something about that woman don't sit right with me. Far too comfortable being alone and independent and stuff. And plus, she don't interact with any other woman in Callit other than Trina Green. I don't know. Something not right.
I don't trust anyone touching my hair. But Sharon, she knows everything. I trust her. I always go up there and get my hair cut and style, She always knows the latest styles and trends, and we always have a nice chat. She's become somewhat of a good friend of mine.
Other than getting my hair done up there sometimes, I don't really know Sharon. She was never great friends with my mom like some of the other ladies in Callit. I do know she's really good friends with Jesse's mom, Trina. Oh, but Sharon, man, she's like one of those hipsters that don't care what other people think. Kind of admire that.
Well, I already told you the gossip spread about Sharon. When I moved down to Callit, she moved into Gander soon after, which was when the rumors started. I never really got a chance to know her too well, and didn't really want to after. So that's the extent of it. Yeah, she cuts my hair, but we don't chat or anything while I'm there.
I've never seen a boy work so hard at such a young age. I have so much respect for him and his father. They bring a lot of profit into the plant, and I'd say they're about the hardest workers up at Saltbox Fisheries.
Well, I don't know if I have much time for Jesse Green. He's young, yes, but he's always so quiet. I don't know if I got much personality off him. Shocking, talking about a kid like that. Hard worker, though.
That boy is a maniac, always flying up and down these roads. Him and his dad up there in their palace like they owns Callit. They always got a problem with someone. I tell ya, they thinks they're so much better, but we're all gonna meet our maker one day, and no one will be better than the other.
Jesse Green is literally the most polite, well-behaved child that I knows. Trina really did raise him right. Now, I know he dropped out of school in grade 10, but he is the hardest worker that I know at that age. Not everyone's cut out for university, as I says.
Jesse Green. I don't have a problem with the boy. He's always polite. Comes down here every so often. He's a car enthusiast, so, whenever he wants to get something done to his car or get something new done, he comes down here and we have a chat and, we work on it together. Nah, rumors come around, but, I like to get to know a person before judging them, right?
Jesse Green is not a nice kid. He's always revving his engines up and down to this road all hours of the night. And he's never seen eye to eye with Jimmy. I'm not sure how I feel about him. I taught him like in 7th or 8th grade, and he didn't care about his schoolwork whatsoever.
Jesse Green is the love of my life. People think I'm too young to know what's up. I'm not stupid, okay? He treats me like a princess. Of course, every couple argues, but if I'm gonna be honest, we tend to argue because of something petty on my part. He was raised right, and the people of Callit just don't see that.
At first I believed the rumors about the Greens, all the stuck-up snob bull. After getting to know Jesse, he's actually a polite kid. He treats Vicki with such respect. I realized that Jesse's family was in the same boat as me. Rumors are just that. You have to get to know the person.
Patty Jones? Oh, I trust him with every car I have in my driveway. I went up to Greens Pond once. Cost me about $600 to get the car fixed. And got it back and I still had issues. Never again. Patty Jones is the only one that's going to touch my car.
Me and Patty are good friends. I help him where I can. He helps me where he can. He fixes my car. I orders and parts for him. It's great.
Patty Jones is another one of the buys. I tell you, him and Joe are always up here helping me with one thing and the next. Well, Patty's a jack of all trades. Fixed my plumbing last week after my septic tank backed up. Oh, now where would I be without those boys?
Paddy comes in here so often. I don't chat with him much. He always seems like he got something on his mind, and he acts kind of shady towards me. I don't know. Full head of hair, though. He'll definitely be keeping me in business when the rest of Callit are coming to me to fix their comb-overs.
I guess Patty'd help me with my cars. I trust him with that. That's probably as much as I trust him with. Thinks he's too buddy-buddy with all Callit. I don't know. Something about him makes me feel like he's the one doing all the talk about me and father.
Well, Patty is always willing to help. For the most part, little things like changing a tire, I can do. But whenever Francis is out at sea and something goes wrong, Patty is the man to call. He's just so helpful here in Callit.
Again, Patty was one of my dad's best friends. But like most everyone in Callit, Patty dropped my dad like a sack of potatoes. I didn't really get to know him. I just know he's always been the one everybody in town goes to for any mechanical or technical problems.
Oh, Patty and Jane were great friends of ours. I heard that Patty was one of the ones spreading the rumors about Sharon and Jimmy, though. I don't know if it's true, but Patty never really seemed to like Sharon since. Maybe he thought Sharon was actually spreading crap and in defense of his friend cut her out? I don't know.
Frida? I think she's married to Francis, and he's one of the fishermen at my plants, but haven't really had much dealings with her, so other than that,
Frida was such a great addition to our town. When she came here and married Francis, there was a lot of speculation about, small town mindset. I got to know her through Francis, and I think she's one of the most intelligent women I've ever met. She's been attempting to teach me some Spanish, but I don't know if I got what it takes up here to learn.
That one, Frida, I don't know. Too many rumors going on about her. She sends her kids up here on the weekends to help me. I let them do some of the yard work and stuff, but I feel like she's doing that just to overcompensate for something. And something ain't right. Oh, for sure, you've seen her temper.
Frida Barnes. Oh, she's such a sweet woman. Won't let anyone touch her hair but me. Says that I'm the only one that got any sense when it comes to doing hair. Me and her got a lot closer, though, when her and Hazel had a falling out.
I don't know much about Frida, to be honest. She's married to Francis, who's the captain of his own fishing vessel. Don't do as well as father, so they tend to talk crap, but who doesn't in this town? Can't judge Frida because of Francis, though, can I?
Jane adores Frida. When Francis was out in St. John's, we'd go out and visit him some weekends. They're still good friends to this day. Occasionally Frida is cooking up some traditional Mexican food for us, and when Jane gets the odd chance, she's cooking up some fish and brews and inviting Frida and the youngsters over. Francis too, when he's not out in the boats.
I don't really know Frida, but I do know that there were some really nasty rumors going around about her and my dad, and her daughter, who's a couple years younger than me, doesn't like me for that reason. But gossip is a way of life in Callit, to be honest.
I miss Frida. We used to be great friends, but rumors separated us. We used to do art together when Francis would be out on the boats. She'd come over some summer nights and we'd just sit out on my picnic table out back and paint for hours and laugh. Yeah, I kind of miss that.
Jimmy's daughter? I don't know much about her. She's always so quiet, and Jimmy always kept her sheltered, so...
Vicki Jenkins. That poor kid looks like he's frightened to death all the time. I heard some of the kids here saying that she's constantly bullied in school. She only has Jessie, apparently. I offered her a job here. Maybe a job with other kids her age might help her come out of her shell. Make some friends.
Oh, now Vicki is just the nicest little girl. Used to spend Saturday mornings up here with me and Maxwell. Sat on the couch watching this cartoon or that one. And every Saturday I'd make sure I had some cookies baked with a big glass of milk for her. I miss those days.
That one Vicky? I don't know. She's too quiet for her own good. I also heard she's real smart. Those are the ones you gotta look out for. Jimmy kept her on a short leash. It was only a matter of time before she went crazy on him.
Come on, boys. I've summed up how I feel about Vicky. She's the most misunderstood person in town. She has a heart of gold. The fact that someone as smart as her would even give me the time of day? Perfect she is.
Vicky's such a quiet youngster. Polite as anything, though. Don't get me wrong. She used to come up with Jimmy every so often when Jimmy'd come around. Jimmy would always have a treat for her, like a popsicle or a freezer or something like that, while she played around the garage. Sweet she is.
My daughter tells me about Vicky all the time. I only know her from when she was young and I used to go to Hazel's. She used to be really sweet. My daughter used to play around with her. But now, apparently in school, Vicky gets teased all the time. It's a shame that a father can have that impact on their child.
Vicky is a blessing. She was such an easy child to raise. Always polite, always obeyed. I could throw on an episode of The Wiggles or the Doodle Bops and she would sit and watch for hours. She always enjoyed the musical episodes. I'm truly blessed to have her.
Hazel? Oh, what a saint. She must have the nerves of steel to deal with Jimmy for all these years.
I don't know. Something about Hazel. There's no way one woman can put up with all that Jimmy put her through and still come out as happy as she comes off. I'm not buying it.
Oh, that poor woman, Hazel Jenkins. I needs to invite her to for supper now when this all gets figured out. Shocking what such a good woman must be going through. She deserved much better than Jimmy. What, someone asked what he did to Maxwell in his last days? Oh, now, well then, first of all, he never came to visit Maxwell in the hospital. Not once after he had that first stroke. And then when he passed, because we were so close to Jimmy and we were his godparents, I asked him if he would be a pallbearer at the funeral. And Jimmy agreed. But that man didn't even show up. Here was Hazel and Vicky sat in the pew with me and Jimmy nowhere to be seen. Turns out he got drunk the night before and was passed out in a ditch somewhere. I haven't talked to that man since. Couldn't even stay sober long enough to say goodbye to Maxwell, who acted like a second father to him. It's just not right.
I feels bad for Hazel. All those rumors, I didn't believe not one of them. And like I said, all the rumors that were about me were completely fabricated, so I knows the rest were all baloney. Either way, that poor woman, she suffered when it comes to Jimmy.
Hazel always had respect for me. Even in the face of Jimmy's psychotic episodes, she would always have my back. She wanted Vicky to be happy most of all.
Hazel Jenkins. Poor girl. Me and Jane should probably have her up when all this is over. She's been cooped up in that house because of Jimmy so long. Honestly. I think her and Jane should start her girls' nights again. As just de-stress,
Hazel was a good friend of mine. After all the rumors, she just couldn't show her face anymore. I feel bad for her, because I know the rumors aren't true. The problem is the people in Callit won't believe the rumors aren't true. They love all the gossip.
My mother's my hero. I can't think about what life would be like without her. She was always there for me, especially when my dad wasn't. I don't want to think about what the other people in town must be saying about her, but I adore my mother.